It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC. 1-800-222-5222. We do your emails as well at randykabc@gmail.com. That's randykabc@gmail.com. It is happy hour. It is Friday. That is where we talk about food. We talk about drinks. We talk about travel. We have a lot of fun because the weekend is upon us. And this Friday, we're going to be talking fish. I just got home from KABC about 2 hours ago. No, just an hour ago. What am I talking about? I leave at 3. I get home at 4. I'm on this show at 5. And what was waiting for me was my weekly subscription from Nordic Catch, which I've been talking about on the air. I've been using this company for over a year and talked them into doing some spots on the station because I really believe in them. If you would like to try it, promo code Randy gets 15% off, nordiccatch.com. That's the end of the spiel. But I really love fish, and I got some salmon. I got some halibut, I got some tuna, I got some crab, I got some shrimp. I got a lot of fish recipes on my mind for the upcoming week. And it's funny, I didn't used to consider myself a fish guy. I used to think growing up that I didn't really like fish, I didn't really like salmon. And I think I just never had high quality salmon or had it cooked the way that I like it. What was the game changer for us is a recipe we discovered. It's got to be about 6 or 7 years ago. And ever since we discovered it, we do it every single Wednesday. I'm going to tell you that recipe, but here's what I want from you. The people driving home, the people starting their weekend, 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. It could be salmon. It could be halibut, any kind of whitefish, tuna, shellfish. Tell me about your favorite fish recipe. Tell me how you like to do fish. Tell me about grilling. Tell me about smoking. Tell me about oven baking and broiling and sauteing. Give me a fish recipe that you love. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Tell me a salmon recipe, a tuna recipe, whatever it is. Give me some fish recipes because I'm ready to add to the repertoire. And through the hour, I'm going to give you some of my go-to recipes. The fish meals that I make on a regular basis that are all fairly simple. I don't ever try to do anything too complicated because I get busy. My wife gets busy. But we are really enjoying the fish that we're getting. And let me tell you about balsamic roasted salmon. Balsamic roasted salmon is the easiest meal. Now, it makes it even easier if you happen to know a really good source for really thick balsamic reduction. And in fact, there's a local company I'm a big fan of called Nuvo. I discovered them at the Encino Farmers Market, and they have this thing called the Godfather Balsamic. It's this big bottle. It's 18 years aged. It's real good. But most places where you see balsamic, if you see a balsamic reduction, that works. But I really, 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 really like balsamic. And it turns out that was the first flavor that got me to really, really, really like what salmon can do for you. So, easiest thing in the world. You set your oven to 425. You pull out a sheet pan, lay down some parchment paper, have your fish fillets. I always get skin on. You don't have to, but I like skin on because I like the skin. My wife doesn't like the skin, but that means I get extra skin. And I just do salt, pepper, oil. I always like to do a high heat oil, so we either use avocado oil or olive oil. And then I pat on some of this thick balsamic reduction. Lately, what I also do is then I flip the salmon so they're skin side up. Put them in the oven, 425 for 12 minutes, and you get a gorgeous caramelization on there. In fact, you can see the picture of this salmon because I made a whole video of it on my Instagram at Randy Wang Radio. We've been doing that one every single week. Sometimes we do it with broccoli. Sometimes we do it with broccoli and wild rice. It pairs fantastic with Pinot Noir. That's usually our Wine Wednesday meal. We have the balsamic roasted salmon. We have Pinot Noir, and we play trivia with this guy that does trivia on Twitch that we've been doing ever since COVID. It's one of our favorite parts of the week. That's our balsamic roasted salmon, and it's such a simple meal. In 12 minutes in the oven, and all you're doing is putting on a sheet pan, you can't beat that. I do things that are a little more complicated, but that one has always been our favorite. We have to do it We love that recipe. Give me a salmon recipe. Give me a whitefish recipe. If you like to cook fish, tell me how you like to cook it. Tell me how you like to prepare it. 800-222-KABC. 1-800-222-5222. Another simple one that, is just super healthy, super clean, but also great is lemon dill salmon. All you need is salmon, lemon, and dill. And of course, salt and pepper and oil. That goes without saying. Once again, $4.25 on a sheet pan. I like to chop up the dill really fine and rub that all over the salmon with the salt and pepper. And then I take lemon slices and I place the lemon slices over the salmon so they're protecting it and they're infusing the salmon with that lemony flavor. That's just another easy one. 12 minutes in the oven. You can't beat it. Now, this next one that's a sheet pan salmon, it's a little more complicated, but boy, do I love it. I actually can't take credit for this one. If I can remember where I got a recipe from, I will try to tell you. Sometimes I can't. Some of these things I've invented on my own, and some of them are common sense, like lemon dill salmon. But there's this guy that I've been following on YouTube for a few years now, Joshua Weissman. He is a lot of fun. His stick, the way I found him was like he would think of a fast food meal, but figure out how to do it better, like Jack in the Box tacos or how to make your own Big Mac at home, whatever. It's really cool. So he does this video on it, 3 or 4 different ways to prepare salmon. And one of them really stuck out at us. We had to try it. Pecan crusted salmon. This one's so good. So this, you're going to take mayonnaise, mustard, and truffle salt. You don't have to have truffle salt, but if you have truffle salt laying around, putting just a little bit of that extra funk in with the mayo and Dijon, mix that together, and then you're going to slather that all around your salmon. Then in another bowl, you're going to crush up some pecans. You can either get the little pecan pieces or get whole pecans and crush them with a hammer. That's a lot of fun, gets a lot of rage out. And that's really, really good. So you could do that. And you mix that with parsley and Parmesan cheese. So first you have your salmon covered in the mayonnaise and the mustard and the truffle salt. Then you've got your pecan, your parsley, and your Parmesan. And what do you end up with? You end up with pecan crusted salmon. It's another simple one. 12 minutes in the oven is all you're going to need. And I mean, maybe you can go to 14. It depends how big or thick the salmon is. But lately, 12 minutes at $4.25 for the size of salmon that I get, which my wife and I probably each do about not even a half a pound. It's like maybe 3/4, maybe each we do 1/3 of a pound, a little less than that. 12 minutes works for us, but you can always go higher if you want it. But 12 minutes really, it gets the fat starting to render, but nothing gets overcooked, nothing gets dried out. That one is a real winner. Those are my go-to sheet pan salmon meals. And we do the balsamic one every week. Sometimes we rotate. We'll do the lemon dill. We'll do the pecan crusted. That one's for like special nights. They all go great with Pinot Noir, which we love Pinot Noir. But I don't just do salmon in the oven. There are so many different ways to prepare salmon. 800-222-KABC is the phone number, 1-800-222-5222. I'm sharing some of my favorite salmon meals, just simple things that I like to do during the week so I get that healthy fish in my system. If you've got some recipes you'd like to share with me, your favorite way to prepare your favorite fish, I'd love to hear from you. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Now, this next one involves my Traeger. I have had a Traeger smoker for, about 3 or 4 years now. And I have done brisket. I've done pulled pork. Hadn't done salmon. But since I get so much salmon every week from Nordic Catch, I thought I'm going to try to smoke some salmon. Not cold smoking, because that takes forever. So I'm not trying to make lox. I'm trying to do hot smoke that would be really good. We first wanted to do smoked salmon in a scramble. And so, simplest thing in the world, I have one of those smart thermometers. It's from a brand called Meter. So you stick that in the salmon, cover it with salt and pepper, and then put it in the smoker at 180 degrees and just let it sit there until it's done. The Traeger is real set it and forget it. As long as the hopper's full of pellets, you don't really have to do anything. And that's part of why I love my Traeger. It takes maybe 2 to 3 hours, but since I have the smart thermometer, I don't even have to check it. I get an alert on my phone when it starts estimating the time. And then when we're like 5 minutes away, I pull it off, let it cool. And here's the two things that we've done with the Traeger smoked salmon, which the smell of that, oh, it's a game changer. It's the closest we can get to whenever we go to my in-laws for the holidays. They get a smoked salmon platter from this place called Woody's near Dallas. Oh my goodness, it's so good. So the first thing we did with this is a smoked salmon scramble where you chop up some asparagus, some dill, shallots, goat cheese, eggs, and that smoked salmon. That is divine. That one is a crowd pleaser. That one, when we want to show off and we're having people over for brunch, that's a great one to do. Also, we've discovered this lately, that smoked salmon, really great on bagels. Now, my wife and I are a gluten-free household, so where are we getting bagels? There's this place in Woodland Hills, Modern Bread and Bagel, best gluten-free bagels ever. We'll get a few, slice them in half, toast them, and then put cream cheese, tomato, onion, and that salmon. And capers, of course. You got to have capers. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. I'm telling you some of my favorite salmon recipes. I'm going to get to tuna. I'm going to get to halibut and everything else, but I want to hear from you if you've got some fish recipes you'd like to share on the air. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to Patty in Redondo Beach. Patty, hello.
Hi, Randy. How are you?
Hi. I'm doing great. It's Friday.
I watch you and John every single day. I mean, I listen to you guys. Anyway, I do a really simple salmon recipe because I'm alone and it's simple and it's healthy. And I just take a salmon fillet and sprinkle Lowry's garlic salt on both sides.
Stuff's good.
Stick it on my George Foreman. And for 5-6 minutes, depending on the size of your salmon fillet, it's done and it's delicious.
Oh, gosh, that sounds incredible. I used to have a Foreman. That's like the only way I knew how to cook for the longest time. They do such a great job. Garlic salt, Lowry's garlic salt with salmon. Sometimes it can be that simple. That sounds delicious. What an easy go-to meal.
It is. And I mix it with, maybe I'll slice up some tomatoes and slice up some avocado, and that's my dinner. And I lost a lot of weight eating like this, and I love it.
I got to say, ever since we started cooking at home a lot and eating a lot more fish, the weight comes off a heck of a lot easier. Fish is so good for you.
It is. It is.
Well, wonderful, Patty.
Anyway,
thanks so much for sharing your recipe. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
That's all you got to do, people. Give me a recipe that you'd like to share on the air. It can be simple. It can be complicated, but we're talking fish. We're talking salmon. We're talking shrimp. We're talking crab. We're talking tuna. We're talking whitefish. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. I got a ton of recipes to share with you, but I want to hear yours. Let's go to Taj in L.A. Taj, hello.
Hi, can you hear me? I'm on the phone.
I can. Yes, what's going on?
Excellent. Thanks for taking my call. I'm just stuck in traffic as usual. You know LA. But I wanted to share a great recipe, and a lot of people might not think of it, but steaming the fish is probably the most natural and easy way you could cook fish. You know, because my dad used to be a Chinese restaurateur, a chef, and he taught me a lot of dishes when I was little. One of them was steamed fish. It's like this. You take a whole fish, don't cut the head off, leave it all on, eyes and everything. Make sure you scale it, of course. But once the fish is gutted and prepared, you rinse it off and you throw it on a plate over a boiling bowl of water, like a bigger, what would you call it, like a sautéing pan with a cover. But within that cover, you need a little stand so that the plate can sit outside of the water that's boiling underneath it, if you can picture what I'm saying. So as the fish is sitting on top of on your plate, it'll steam for a good 20 minutes. But what you do is you throw on ginger. You throw on scallion, and it's real simple. You You heat it for about 20 minutes until it's nice and tender. You can see the eyes are shrunken, and it looks like it's done. And you take a final touch of oil that you've heated up to a nice hot temperature, enough to when it would sizzle. And you, at the very last step, after you take off the lid, after it's done steaming, you pour on the hot oil. That you could also throw in some prickly ash Sichuan Chinese peppercorns, which are really delicious, but like a numbing spicy. So you can throw that all in together. Boom, it's done. You serve it with white rice, and you'd be amazed how delicious that is. But that's for my dad, whose birthday it would have been today. If he were still with us, he would have been 62. Thank you.
Wow. Taj, that sounds incredible, and you described it so well. My mouth was watering.
Famous Tang's Chinese restaurants could serve it to you back in the 80s and 90s. In the 2000s, Tang's Chinese restaurant. But yeah, from the East Coast, great international Chinese recipe. Steamed fish of a lot of different kinds. You can take, I would say go with a bass or something, maybe freshwater or saltwater. I mean, a lot of it's good. Not too many bones, but just like that. It's perfect.
That sounds incredible. I'm going to have to give that a try someday. Taj, thank you so much for the call. Have a great weekend.
Absolutely. You too. Bye-bye.
There we go. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. I've honestly never done steamed fish before. That sounds really good. I got to do that. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. How do you like to fish? Give me a fish recipe that you like to do. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. It could be salmon, it could be tuna, it could be whitefish, it could be shellfish. 800-222-KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on a Happy Hour Friday. Talk Radio, 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. We're taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. It's Happy Hour Friday. I've got fish on the brain, and I want to hear your favorite fish recipes. You got a salmon recipe that you love to do. Maybe it's whitefish, maybe it's tuna, maybe it's shellfish. Give me a call and share with me and the audience one of your favorite fish recipes. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Are you a griller? Are you a smoker? Are you a baker? Tell me how you make fish. 800-222-KABC. Now, one of the ones that we do on the regular is tacos. I'm a big fan of fish tacos, although that was another thing I never thought I would do until I did it, and then I became obsessed with it. But I don't do fried fish tacos. Usually what I'll do is it could be salmon, it could be cod, it could be mahi-mahi. Depends what you get. I get so much salmon that I usually end up going with salmon because I like salmon. I really love the flavor of salmon, but get a package of taco seasoning. Could be from Trader Joe's, could be from that brand Siete, could be from wherever. Or make your own taco seasoning. Rub that all over a piece of fish and put that in the oven at 350 for 30 minutes. Then put it in a bowl, squeeze one lime, and shred that fish until you've got just the perfect taco filling. What I'll do for salmon tacos is usually corn tortillas. Sometimes, if I have the time and energy, I'll make the tortillas myself. You can get Maseca. There's this brand Macienda that's local in LA. They're really great blue corn tortillas you can make with them. And then, cook them or heat them up on cast iron and then put them in a little warmer until all your fixins are ready. And then I do a little cabbage, then the salmon filling, then a little red salsa, a little green salsa, a little cotija, and some avocado and some cilantro. Oh, that sounds so good. I can't believe fish tacos isn't on the menu yet this week. I love making fish tacos. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. I'm sharing some of my favorite fish recipes. It's time for you to share some of yours. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. We take your emails as well at randykabc@gmail.com. That's randykabc@gmail.com. It's Friday, it's happy hour, and since I just got a big box of fish delivered from my friends at Nordic Catch, promo code Randy, I am thinking about fish recipes. I'm telling you some of my favorite fish recipes. And most importantly, I want to hear your favorite fish recipes, whether it's salmon, whitefish, tuna, maybe it's shellfish. I want to know a way that you like to prepare fish because I'm looking to expand my repertoire. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to Brandy in San Diego. Brandy, hello.
Hey, Randy, I love it when you talk food. It's the only time I take time out from listening to politics all day long. Love it. You need to do us all a favor and do a cookbook because I listen to you while I'm driving. I can't write it down. I'm so glad you repeated the balsamic salmon again because I get busy and I forget. But I'm sure you've heard this before, but make it happen for us, please, Cap'n.
All right, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take this call to a publisher and say, get me a book deal. I'm making a cookbook. How to cook and still be lazy. That's what I'm going to call it.
Yeah, well, we're going to support you. You know, you've got a whole audience here that will all support you on that one. So, and get Tank's steamed fish too, because that sounded really, really good.
Yeah, it did.
And thank you. Have a good day.
All right. Thanks so much for the call, Brandy. Appreciate it. I have been asked about a cookbook, and I definitely have thought about it. One thing is I'm a bad writer, bad procrastinator. I'm good at improvising on the radio, which doesn't really translate to a whole lot of other skills. But at some point, I mean, I definitely have a repertoire. The only thing is a lot of the recipes that I do, it's discovered somewhere else at some point. So it's not like I invented all of these. But you know what? Maybe at some point. Let's go to Sarkis in Glendale. Sarkis, hello.
Hi, Randy. How are you? So this is
great.
A very simple, great. I know you guys are talking about shellfish and fish and all this. I've been cooking for the last 55 years professionally. So this is a simple recipe for home. So you season any kind of fish. It can work 5 to 6 ounce fillet. Just season salt and pepper. And on one side, cayenne and turmeric. So what you do, you add oil and butter in a pan, medium high. You wait till it really gets to a point where when you put the fish in, it will sear. So you put the cayenne and the turmeric side first. You get a nice sear. You turn it to the side, and then you cover it. You turn it off. Leave it the way it is on the burner for about 3-4 minutes. And then when you take it off, you could put some, like a little white wine and a little lemon juice, kind of a little reduce it for like in about a minute. Add a little butter, salt and pepper, and that's your dish, basically.
That sounds so good. Now, I'm assuming that when you talked about flipping it, you're doing skinless fish for this?
It's skinless fish, correct. Skinless fish. So I'm talking about fillet, no bones, no nothing, just simple. You'll about 5-6 minutes, you'll have a fish. Take the fish out of the refrigerator about 15 minutes earlier. So this way it's almost like a room temperature. And when you saute it, you're just searing it the seasoned side first, which has the turmeric and the cayenne and the salt, pepper. Very simple. When you flip it, you just turn it off. Just cover it up. I'm telling you, it'll be the moistest fish ever. You don't need to go to an oven and all this and all that. Yeah.
That sounds so good, and it seems simple enough. Just cayenne, turmeric one side, salt and pepper on the other side, medium high heat, butter and oil. Okay, I'm definitely adding that one to my repertoire. Sarkis, thank you so much for the call, and thanks for lending us your expertise.
No problem, Randy. It's just a salt, pepper on both sides, though. Okay, on both sides.
You got it. Thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. All right, I got 2 more salmon meals that I do on the rag. One is an Asian salmon bowl, and for that, I like to marinate the salmon in a little lime juice, a little ginger, garlic, honey, and soy sauce, although we use tamari because my wife is gluten-free. Bake that 30 minutes at 350, and then we like to put that over pickled onions, pickled cucumbers with like rice wine vinegar, so they're kind of Asian-ish, with jalapeno, cilantro, pretty much what you would see in a poke bowl. Oh boy, and a little bit of spicy mayo on the top, sriracha and mayonnaise, a little sesame oil. That's a real good one. The last salmon recipe I'll give you. Might be the favorite of all the salmon recipes. It's definitely, I used to think it was just as complicated as some of the others, but it's salmon pesto. Now, I have greatly simplified how I do pesto. There was a time where I watched that salt, fat, acid, and heat like everybody else, and I wanted to do old grandma pesto every single time. And I have done it with the mortar and pestle. It takes a very long time, but I also got to a point where we were trying to eat real clean, but we still love the flavor of pesto. And there is a way to do pesto without a whole bunch of cheese and a whole bunch of, nuts. It's called avocado pesto. We discovered this a few years ago and then brought it back into the regular recipes just a few months ago. And gosh, we're obsessed. Simple. In a blender, get some garlic really finely chopped. Then get all your basil, couple of avocados, lemon juice, olive oil, salt. Get that until it looks like pesto and tastes like pesto. It's the craziest thing. It really works. And then in the oven at 30 minutes, we'll do salmon, just olive oil, salt, and pepper. I also like to do cherry tomatoes halved and put them alongside. So you kind of have like roasted tomatoes with that as well. It's great over pasta, great over spaghetti squash, great over zucchini. That one is a winner. Let's go to Shuri in Granada Hills. Shuri, hello.
Hey, Randy. Thanks for the great radio program. I so enjoy you. I listen to you during the day too with John. Man, what a great show today. Oh my gosh.
Thank you. We have a good time.
The fact that Ed came on, the radio guy Ed, well, I don't remember his last name.
Oh, Ed Lascos, the Fox 11 legend.
God.
We were so excited that he came on to talk to us.
And he was, to my delight, he was so delightful. What a great guy to talk to. Oh my gosh, that was so fun. I just have a quick
he is one of my favorites.
Enough already.
Oh my gosh. Oh, enough already. He was so good. And it was just a great show today. I just can't get the picture of Gavin Newsom out of my head with a Bo Peep outfit and a lollipop. It's been ghosting me all day.
Me too.
I'm sure because you've seen the picture.
It's pretty wild. AI is scary how quickly it can create something that absurd.
It's insane, but it's creepy because, like you said, the hands and the eyes are always wrong, and it just ends up, you're just like, oh, this is creepy, creeping me out, man. Especially Gavin. Oh.
I am hopeful I don't have any little Bo Peep Gavin nightmares tonight.
Oh gosh. I would not doubt if you did. Hey, I just have a quick question. I wanted to ask you, you mentioned the bagel place with gluten-free, because I have to be gluten-free because of my stomach problems. Now, every single bagel that I've had that's gluten-free, I cannot stand. But you said the bakery that you went to, I don't know the name of it, and that's what I'm wondering.
Oh, I'll tell you right now, and you're in the valley, so this is going to be real easy. At the Topanga Villages in Woodland Hills, like on Topanga Canyon Boulevard in Van Owen, there's a place there called Modern Bread and Bagel, right across from Pitfire Pizza in the center, right where that fountain is. They opened about, I'd say a year ago. It is... Yep. They're open at like 7 every morning. It is the game changer. It is like, my wife's the same thing. She doesn't really like a lot of gluten-free bagels, except the ones at Trader Joe's. She likes those. But the ones at Modern Bread and Bagel are game changers. And they don't just have bagels. They have brioche buns, gluten-free brioche bread. Are you kidding me? Gluten-free focaccia, gluten-free treats. Yeah, this place, everything they make is gluten-free. I'm a huge fan. They just opened a second location in Beverly Hills, but you're in the valley. You got to get out there. It is really good.
That's amazing. I know you are too. You're kind of I think Santa Clarita or somewhere around there, right?
Well, I'm from Santa Clarita, but no, I'm in the valley. I'm in the Lake Balboa area.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I grew up around there. Very cool. I'm so glad because it's nice to listen to you because I feel like, you're kind of, you're aware of everything around here and we're neighbors. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of cool to be able to listen to you guys talk. And especially, your evening program now that I really enjoy. I will go to this place. I'm so excited about it that you're talking about it. And I also checked the website for the Nordic Catch, and that really looks good also. So
I can't recommend it enough. Once my wife started trying this salmon, she said, we're not going back. This is the only salmon we're ever going to have.
Awesome.
It's that good.
Yeah, we're big salmon fans too. So this is an awesome program. Thank you so much for everything you do.
Well, Shuri, thank you so much. Your attitude, you are just a cheerful, incredible person, and call on anytime. We're so glad to have you. Have a great weekend.
You as well. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. 800-222-KABC is the phone number, 1-800-222-5222. The joy in her voice, infectious. I love this audience. More of your fish recipes coming up. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. We're taking your fish recipe calls at 800-222-KABC. Let's go to Mike in L.A. Mike, hello.
Hey, what's up, Randy? How you doing?
Doing great.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I just had a couple of suggestions for your wine on Wednesday night. With instead of a Pinot, maybe try like a Beaujolais Cru, like a Moulin Avant or Saint Julien, or there's 10 different regions actually that serve a little bit lighter wine that might go well with a salmon. Also, too, you might want to try a Greek wine. And it's called Thalassides. It's grown right by the sea. It's a Greek white wine, and it has sort of a saline type quality to it that really pairs well with fish.
That sounds great. I've never tried that before, and I got to educate myself. I know a little about French wines and French reds, but I definitely need to learn more. Like usually I'm just drinking straight up California Pinot, but I'm going to look into that. Mike, thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. Let's do one more great giveaway for the week. 790 KABC welcomes Danny Elfman to the Hollywood Bowl on November 2nd. Tickets are on sale Friday at Ticketmaster.com. But right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-790-5222 gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by Live Nation. Good luck dialing. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Happy Hour Friday. Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. As we're wrapping up another Happy Hour Friday, I'm going to tell you about some more of my favorite fish recipes. We got through the salmon. Now, there's 2 tuna recipes that we do pretty regularly. Tuna puttanesca, which is a puttanesca sauce, which, if you know that story, it's anything you have in the kitchen put together with tomato sauce. And I like to do seared tuna with salt and pepper on top of that. We also do tuna niçoise, also with seared tuna. I do seared tuna the same way on both. Salt and pepper, cut the tuna into equal rectangular logs, and then on high heat on a cast iron, 30 to 45 seconds on each side, flip, 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 flip. No more than 3 minutes cooking time total. Put it on a cutting board, thinly slice them. You get that pink in the middle. Oh, it's just gorgeous. I love tuna puttanesca. I love tuna niçoise. Halibut. Love halibut. The halibut that I get from Nordic Catch is really thin, so it's perfect on a cast iron, 2 minutes on each side. Here are 3 halibut recipes that we're obsessed with. Discovered this one, a recipe online years ago. I do pan-seared halibut, 2 minutes on each side, high heat, salt and pepper. Over cauliflower mash. You could do mashed potatoes or parsnips, but cauliflower mash is really healthy and it's easy because you just cook a bunch of cauliflower and then blend it up with some broth. And then we top that with a strawberry salsa, which is strawberries, jalapeno, scallions, balsamic, and lime juice. Oh boy. Once you've had strawberry salsa, it's a game changer. And then this one we discovered recently because of a restaurant in Santa Fe, New Mexico called Luminaria at the Inn and Spa Loretto Chapel. They have a halibut that they do over green chili risotto. So, risotto, you're usually thinking, okay, that involves wine and a whole bunch of Parmesan cheese. Not a green chili risotto. Still get your broth heated up, still, saute your rice, your arborio rice, and then as it's starting to soften, instead of Parmesan cheese, you're going to add Jack cheese, and instead of wine, you're going to add a jar of green chili. I get mine from the Shed, but places like Gelson's, they have really good green chili as well. And oh my, green chili risotto. Once I get back on rice, that is a winner. Shrimp is another fun one. We've been getting shrimp from Nordic Catch, and I like to put shrimp on skewers where it's shrimp, piece of pineapple, shrimp, piece of pineapple, shrimp, piece of pineapple. 5 minutes on each side if it's uncooked shrimp. Oh my goodness. And whether it's whitefish or shrimp, I've always done a ceviche, which is a fascinating process where you're letting lime juice cook fish. It's so cool. That's just scratching the surface of some of my fish recipes. We will definitely do this again because it is so fun sharing my love of cooking with you. And we love going to restaurants as well, but can't afford to go to a restaurant every day, can we? Thank you all so much for tuning in. It's always such a pleasure to do this show for you. It is a dream come true, especially these Happy Hour Friday shows. If you're curious at all about my friends at Nordic Catch, you get 15% off with the promo code Randy, so check it out. I guarantee it's the best salmon you'll ever taste. NordicCatch.com, NORDIC catch.com. They're not paying for this. They're paying for spots during the midday show, but I love them, and I hope you give it a try. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC.